Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a Ford Bronco Outer Banks with the Sasquatch package. So we're going to see if the 4-cylinder can handle 35s. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Young Ford here in Ogden, Utah for giving me some time with this Bronco. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbo 2.3 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 18 around town, 17 on the highway, with power outputs being 300 horsepower and then 325 pound-feet of torque. Before I move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you're going to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So taking a look at the hood, you can see it raises up towards the center, and then you've got the mirrors attached to the body, which is great if you take off the doors. Now, you still have the cool circular headlights here. You can see the grille's all blacked out except for the Bronco logo that's finished in white. Fog lights here at the bottom. And then it looks like we just have the plastic bumper on this. Do have recovery points though at the bottom, but there's the front. Now, the big thing with this is the fact that we've got 35s wrapped around 17-inch wheels, so lots and lots of tire. You see these big chunky fender flares. You got the Outer Banks Sasquatch badge there. Body painted mirror cap. This one has the hard top. You can get it with soft top too. It's actually one right there, Sasquatch soft top. That one's a 24 because it's got the cactus that's no longer available. Anyways, you got the side steps, and there's your side profile. This leads us to the key fob where we have our lock and unlock function. I don't think it's going to focus. There we go. Remote start. We got the Bronco logo there in the back, and then popping in, we've got the swing gate, which I recommend just kind of push it and then just push it again. That'll do the best thing. But yeah, plenty of storage space. This one is a 4-door. You can get the Broncos in a 2-door too if you want. Popping that down and that in, pretty seamless. You've got the upgraded taillights, again plastic rear bumper down below, but you do have a recovery point, spare 35. There's the rear. Now popping inside, this is where I think it's a real showstopper, or at least I like it. You got the brown trim here, and then that continues onto the seats. I think that looks really sharp. Just a nice trim in general. Decent legroom, again similar to a Wrangler. Window controls here in the center. See charging ports and all of that. So pretty nice setup, and plenty of headroom because of the boxy design. This leads us up front, where again we've got the soft touch blind spot running with the mirrors. 1,065 pounds of payload capacity. Got the Bronco horse there. Got a nice trim all over. All of your power adjustments on the side. Light controls right here. Got the nice sturdy grab handle. Now here's a quick look at the steering wheel. Soft touch all around. You've got practical controls here on the front, including controls for the center. You've got your cruise control with the volume controls as well. And turn signal, windshield wiper stock. Nice digital gauge cluster here in the center, which we can use to scroll through and see different bits of info and systems within the Bronco. Nice little setup. This is also where the GOAT modes will pop up. So you have modes for both on-road and off-road use depending on what you're doing. 360 camera system, pretty good resolution with the camera system itself. And infotainment system, it's big. You got the little shortcut bar there with the whole tab. Pretty quick response time with everything too. And above it, we've got front and rear diff lock. This doesn't have the stabilizer bar disconnect like a Badlands. Trail turn assist, stability control. You can go a lot of places with diff locks. That's what, leave it at that. Got the Bronco logo there, and then you guys can see here with the radio controls down below. Got the climate controls here as well, and then heated seats, heated steering wheel. Got a little phone charging pad. Shifter for the 10-speed. Then we've got our little cup holders here. Drive mode select, you can gut mode select with our drive line select. We also have our off-road cruise control as well. And then we've got all of our window controls here in the center. You've got your little mirror adjustment there, center console. And then, yeah, I really like this whole kind of like design thing in the Bronco. I think it's just nice. 6 auxiliary switches, which is a lot. Nice top insulation. Lots of glare, but this is equipped as about 64 grand roughly. So a little bit less than a Badlands Sasquatch. Let's see how it performs. Let us set off in the Bronco Outer Banks with the Sasquatch package. See how it all performs. What I will say is I love the Bronco seats for the comfort aspect. I think that's really nice. Good torque. Now with Sasquatch, you get re-gearing. So even though this 4-cylinder is, well, a 4-cylinder, it is a re-geared setup. So that is going to help out quite a bit with the low-end torque. That being said, though, obviously we went over the fuel economy. You don't get great fuel economy. And the thing to note is this gets pretty much the same fuel economy as the V6. The V6 gets 1717, this is 1817, so you get 1 mile per gallon better around town. Negligible. The real benefit by going for the 4-cylinder is really just the lower cost. That's why you go for it. You don't go for it because of fuel economy. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty comfortable ride. Yeah, not bad at all. Now the Bronco, just like the Wrangler, isn't going to have as much insulation inside, so you are going to hear more road noise. Just more noise in general. Torque is pretty darn strong though. But yeah, the top insulation does help out the noise a bit, so I do recommend if you can get the top insulation, get the top insulation. And obviously hard top. Hard top's always going to be quieter than soft top. That's just how the world works. Man, I always forget how small Miatas are. I think it's tiny. Yeah, the power band's smooth. I mean, in off-roading, I can kind of see, like, with how aggressive this rear end is, you wouldn't have problems with low-end torque. So performance really is not an issue with this at all. It really just is going to, excuse me, it really is just going to come down to the fuel economy and the acceleration of the V6, right? The V6 is going to keep pulling, whereas this is going to taper off a bit once you get up to those higher RPMs. So I guess that is another bit of a downside. I'll tell you, this thing drives well. I'm always impressed with what axle ratios can do to cars. An axle ratio can really make or break a car, I would say. That's obviously why it can become pretty... Oh, that was my turn. Whatever, we'll go up here. That's why it can become pretty popular to re-gear a car. Because if you re-gear a car, then, you know, if you have bigger tires or whatever, then that can definitely help out quite a bit. Yeah, I never know how people, like... I know how people do it, but, like, I also don't understand why people daily drive or just drive cars that low in Utah. It makes zero sense. I used to have sports cars, and it's like I smacked enough front splitters that I'm like, yeah, this is just not worth it anymore. And it's like, even when you're careful, it's just potholes and everything that it happens. So it's just like, it's just not, those low cars are not worth it. Like, I like off-road stuff like this just for the fact that I don't have to worry about potholes or bumps. That is literally, it's such a nice peace of mind here. But let me guys think about these Sasquatch with the Outer Banks. You know, I think obviously if you've got the money, going to the Badlands is worth, I think the steel bumper, worth it. I don't know if Ford's putting a steel bumper in the rear yet. I think they're still doing plastic, which is quite disappointing. But yeah, I think the steel bumper is worth it. I think the stabilizer bar disconnect is worth it. I think the V6 is worth it. But if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. But if you do have the money, right, it's just kind of one of those things. And I'm interested to see what happens with Bronco and Wrangler moving forward now that the market's kind of, I mean, you guys gotta let me know if I'm wrong, but I feel like the market's kind of shifted away from these. I think that people kind of want non-convertible body and frame off-road SUVs nowadays, because overlanding's really popular now, and you can overland in these, but they're not nearly as good as if you overland in like a full-size pickup truck if you got big trails, or really, you know, something like a Toyota Land Cruiser, Toyota 4Runner, they're actually just better for overlanding because the extra space that you get inside, especially with the Land Cruiser, and then the comfort, and then the insulation you get, right, if you car camp at all. So, just interested to see how that kind of evolves with these over time. Let me know your thoughts.